like, okay, we're singing in the rain. Good morning. You know, I was like, how, like, gotta dance. Like, this movie's torture.
Oh my god.
Okay, like, get it over with. Like,
Beautiful girls.
oh my god, yeah. That was the one where I was like, are we still doing this shit?
Welcome back to the big room. We watched another movie that's old. We watched Singin' in the Rain.
We did.
That movie with that song from that Tropicana commercial.
Singing in the rain.
No, the Good Morning song.
Good morning.
Yeah, the Good Morning song.
That was the
with
wrong
the oranges
tune.
bouncing in the thing. Y'all know this.
How
the commercial.
embarrassing.
That was
We
really
all-
I'm
embarrassing.
sure I know, but I can't remember.
We all watch cable television.
It's great to stay up late.
That's right. Banger of a movie, I thought. We watched it. 3 of us watched it in our local theater. Our local theater. Thanks, John Travolta, for the theater.
John Travolta gave us the
Really?
theater?
I think he renovated it in the mid 2000s.
Thanks.
Well, he
Mid to
should
late
renovate it
2000s.
again.
I mean, the mid 2000s.
I told you I met John Travolta downtown.
Yeah, I've seen the picture.
No.
Yeah.
Wait, no.
Yeah.
Why
No.
was this not brought up during the Pulp Fiction episode?
I don't.
my
I
God.
just totally forgot. I didn't want to name drop, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
just don't want to
Too-
name
too
drop
early
the,
on.
the star
Yeah.
of the movie that I'm watching.
Yeah.
You know?
Before we get started, I want to talk about why Nick's camera looks different. And it's because Nick smashed his phone in a hilarious fashion. I want him to tell the story.
Wait.
Oh, you're
You
gonna make me
smashed
tell
your
the story?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
How'd you break your phone, Nick?
I hate you.
This is your second phone in like 6 months.
Oh no.
Both bathroom related incidents, but I only care about the most recent one.
All right. How do I tell this story? I was in the bathroom doing what you do in the bathroom. Sitting there scrolling on your phone.
Singing in the
right?
rain.
Singing in the rain. Singing on the toilet. And there's a towel rack on the wall beside the toilet. So when you're done, just set my phone up on the rack,
Oh God.
clean up, and then you're done.
Okay,
But
please
when I
hold.
set-
Please hold. Carl, what do you think happened?
I'm imagining it fell into the toilet or
Wrong.
something.
Nick,
Like,
continue.
okay.
I set my phone on the towel rack as I always do. The phone didn't just fall off the rack. The entire rack fell to the ground and shattered the phone on the tile.
Oh,
And I'm just sitting there
Oh,
looking at this phone busted on the floor going, did this just happen? Did this really
pants around
just
your
happen?
ankles. You just-
Yeah.
Oh man.
Dignity around your ankles. Phone around your ankles.
That's
Dignity.
not Nick's
Always
fault, though.
dignity.
Always.
Oh.
No, it's
Always
not.
dignity.
You know whose fault it is? It's Tim Apple's fault for making his G-dang rectangle so heavy.
I mean, I didn't have a case on my phone either. So
I don't know if a case would have saved
Living reckless.
a rack drop.
Why the towel rack? Why not the counter? Why not just back in your
it's
pocket?
the only thing close. It's either that or like on the
It's closer than your
bathtub, but that-
pocket.
Well, yeah.
Well, like if
Those are all the way on the
they're
ground.
on the floor.
Yeah, the pockets are in a
There's
puddle.
germs on the floor.
It's either towel rack, bathtub, or like the window behind me. Towel rack seems the easiest.
Your dad
The window
drill-
behind me is where I busted it last year.
Yeah,
It fell out of the
Oh.
window.
that's right.
I'm
like
just
you
going to
have a-
stop taking my phone into the bathroom.
No, you're not.
Just need to
None
upgrade
of
your
us are.
bathroom.
It's the best part of going to the bathroom.
It's the only well,
That's why men spend so much
That
G-dang
and
time in the
the bidet.
bathroom.
yeah, Reddit.
Even though all of you guys don't have any children, so you can scroll on your phone at any location of your house. So why do you still need to sit in the
it
bathroom?
hits different on the John.
Yep.
I can think through crosswords a lot faster when I'm pooping.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. Did your dad drill a new towel rack into the wall yet?
No, it's just broken. It's great.
Where do you put your towels?
Just
On top of his phone.
This is getting really intense. Towels go on the
phone.
countertop.
On the countertop.
On the countertop.
Oh, yeah.
Is
And
that
you
what
just
they?
kind of reach out when you're done in the shower.
But what about when
Okay,
they
yeah,
need
yeah,
to
yeah,
dry?
yeah. Where do you dry them though? Because now your rack's broken. What's your backup plan?
Oh, right. So, God, okay.
Take us through this.
You get a towel.
Yeah,
Put it on the sink. You take a shower. You reach out. You get the towel.
yeah.
I'm not a double. Like, I don't use a towel twice.
Whoa.
What?
It goes straight to the hamper.
So
Nick.
wait.
Same with a washcloth when I use the washcloth.
No, I like
What?
it. I like it though Because this is
Definitely with
the duality of Nick, because he's a washcloth poor, but he only uses a towel once, which is rich people behavior.
I was.
That's the
no,
richest thing.
I only used a washcloth once.
Yeah, but you used it at all, so that's
Well, yeah. Well, now I don't. So.
According to the gauge, though, yeah, you were cyberbullied by a podcaster out of using your washcloth.
Now
No, I
have
use a towel for
a couple loofahs. I bought a loofah on a stick so I could get my back. It's great.
Wow.
Great.
Way to
It's
be
great.
way to be influenced.
It's great.
Also, though, how much? That's so much laundry.
It is a lot
A
of
towel
laundry.
a
No,
day.
it is. It's
That's
a lot.
constant laundry.
It's
How
a
do you?
lot.
How many
Yeah.
towels
There's
do
also
you
multiple
have?
times where I'll open the hamper or like the closet, and there's just no towels.
You're using
Wow.
like
Because they're
dish logic on towels.
Don't. All right, hang on.
Oh no.
Do not. Do not judge me for anything I do
You are one to talk about bathroom etiquette.
in the bathroom.
Don't turn this on me. We're talking about Nick right now.
No, we're turning it on you. What kind of
about the
body
movie.
wash do you use, Carl?
I've moved on from the Dawn soap era. Okay,
Can we?
I've
I'm
learned.
proud of you. I'm glad.
No, never mind. I was gonna say, can we put? This is too much bullying to put a picture of your shower that I have in
I
my
think we
phone up on the
should.
screen
I
right
think we
now.
should.
No, that's
There's no Dawn
cyberbullying.
soap in it anymore.
If it's safe for the duck, it's safe for Carl.
No, it's
Look,
it's
if it could
cyberbullying,
get
though.
the oil off of ducks, I figure it could get the dirt and grime off of this guy.
But probably
And
too
I have more
much.
than one towel now too, so none of your
Aw.
Proud
stuff
of
is
you.
it
He's
doesn't
living
stick
the
anymore.
life.
I want to know about the logistics of how you can't put a phone back in your pants. That's what doesn't make sense to me.
You have more
Like-
than one towels because of an unsolved mystery.
Did you ever figure that out?
I know. I still haven't used those towels. I'm scared they're like poisoned or something. Like somebody's like out to get me. I don't know.
All right, we gotta talk about a movie. Plus, we've talked about the towel mystery before. I think that was one of the
I
first
think
episodes.
that was the first.
Oh,
yeah, I think that was
man.
Roadhouse.
Was that Roadhouse?
Yeah,
Roadhouse.
I think so.
Can't wait to watch the sequel, Roadhouse, starring
man.
Jake Gyllenhaal and the UFC.
God, my tummy hurts. It's
gonna be great.
I'm laughing.
Oh, that's gonna be terrible. All right, we watched Singin' in the Rain. It came out in 1952.
Wow.
It is an hour and 43 minutes long, and it's
Wow.
rated G for good. We watched it in a theater in the world's smallest seats.
Yep.
I had
Dude.
I had a terrible mule, Moscow mule. While
Hard to mess up a
while
mule.
there, it was too much ginger beer.
Mm.
Movie stars Gene Kelly, Donald O'Connor, Debbie Reynolds, the mother of Carrie Fisher,
Our Lord and Savior.
and Gene Hagen, who's Lena. Debbie Reynolds was great.
She was adorable.
She's great.
I want to be your best friend.
Well, she's dead.
I know.
She died one day
But
after
if
Carrie
I could
Fisher.
go back to 1952 and be your best friend.
After?
One day after. They both died in 2016, one day apart.
Was it that quick?
It
Wow.
was. Yeah.
Dang.
Yep. Yep. Carrie Fisher died and Debbie Reynolds died the next day.
Sad.
Sad, but she lived forever.
That's true.
I mean, she's
Yeah.
in her 90s. She did a long one. Good job, Debbie Reynolds.
Good job, Debbie.
I don't really know how to summarize this movie. It's a musical. It's our first musical, right?
Yes,
So
It
you're
is.
stoked.
I was stoked.
You're the only one of us, I assume, who had seen it before.
I had seen it before, yes.
You said better the second time.
Yeah, I was looking forward to watching it again now that we've watched a lot more older movies.
Yes.
Because I watched it, just my sister and I, because we're big musical fans, and it's like a classic musical. So it's like, well, we got to watch this. And I found it very slow and kind of harder to get into. But then, like I said, post-watching more older movies, more used to the pacing,
Yep.
I enjoyed it so much more the second time.
Yeah, and we've watched more movies outside of the show. Before the podcast, I got into Rat Pack movies, so we were watching a lot of old Sinatra stuff. So pre-1970s movies, we've probably seen, more than half a dozen this year.
Yeah,
Or December to now.
something like that.
So Gene Kelly, my first Gene Kelly movie. Not my first Debbie Reynolds movie, actually. She's in some animated movie I've seen, I think, or something. Gene Kelly, you don't like Gene Kelly.
That's not true.
I thought, well, you think he's a bully.
Yeah, well, I think everyone in Hollywood kind of,
Most
He
men,
was-
especially.
Like
yeah.
in real life?
Yeah,
Or in the
yeah.
movie?
So, like,
yeah,
what's the one scene that they did? The Good Morning song. Talk about
the Good
that.
Morning song. So
Or scene,
Gene
rather.
Kelly, like he was the lead and the director.
Yeah, he choreographed the
Um,
dances. All the dances he choreographed.
Yeah,
as
and
well.
he choreographed the movie.
Oh, all of them? Wow.
Yeah.
Him and one other guy, but yes.
Yeah, that's true. He had a co-director.
Still,
He was
that's
just
crazy.
known for being such a perfectionist. So they did the Good Morning scene
Yep.
for 15 hours. I think they just looped that scene to the point where Debbie Reynolds' feet were bleeding and
Yep.
she had
Oh
to be
my
carried
God.
off set. So
And then you said they dubbed her tap dancing.
yeah,
anyway.
and then it still wasn't good enough. So
Oh.
Gene Kelly went back and dubbed his tap dancing and her tap dancing anyway.
Oh, wow.
So he was just kind of known for being a bit much.
Yeah.
But he's one of the greatest dancers of all time. So I mean,
You mentioned after watching this, you watched La La Land and thought differently of La La Land. La La Land, specifically the choreography.
it was just different. It's hard to go from a musical like this, which is like so dance heavy by like some of the greatest dancers and like such a classic form of dance in the tap dancing, to La La Land, which I still love. It's amazing.
We should put that on for next year.
Absolutely. But just the dance, the dancing isn't a main point of the movie. So it's just not as good. So it was just kind of jarring to watch Singing in the Rain one week and the very next week watch La La Land, and just the differences in the choreography and the talent in that aspect was just like, whoa, this is really different.
So you're coming from an angle of someone who had seen it before. I think I'm coming from an angle of just an old man. I love old movies, and I don't like musicals generally, so I didn't have
Sadly.
high expectations, I guess. I didn't know what to expect, I guess. So that's my expectation. I enjoyed it a lot, though. I love the pacing. You thought it was slow as a kid, but I love slow paced movies. I think even like the pacing of Fight Club is a bit much for me. I'd much rather have a no stakes,
Yeah.
slow, lighthearted movie from the 40s or 50s, 100% over pretty much every movie we've seen so far, save possibly Pulp Fiction. Nick, you saw it in the same theater as we did, albeit the week after. I want to know what you thought going in, and kind of what you thought of it lightly before we get into it.
Yeah, I thought there was going to be more music in it as a musical. Like I expected, I don't know, 80% of it to be music, and it
Wow.
was more
Like
probably
Les
40,
Mis.
I think, things like Les Mis, things
or
like
even less than 40.
Hamilton have gotten people used to like musicals
Well,
being
that's the other
completely
thing.
sung through.
I've seen 2 musicals in my life:
Which ones?
Hamilton
Yep.
and the classic High School Musical.
Oh,
So, you know,
man.
I didn't have
A
a lot
classic.
of info to go on.
Nick.
Never seen
Oh,
it.
you watched it too. You know it.
I didn't see High School Musical. I didn't
You
Hamilton.
love
though.
Troy.
Me either.
So yeah, that was a little. I mean, I'm not complaining. I love the movie. I'm glad I got to see it in theaters.
Yes.
I think that's pretty cool for the first time seeing this movie to be able to say it was in a theater.
I agree.
Yeah, it was fun. The theater, there was only like 10 or so people in there, but I heard the lady talking after. She was like, I can't tell you how many times I've seen this movie. I was like, oh, it's my first.
I'd go watch it again tomorrow.
So they were like laughing and carrying on. It was great. I kept finding myself just super into all the scenes. Like it just kept getting better and better and better.
I'm so happy.
Carl, I'm pretty interested in
Man, I feel like I'm gonna be the bad guy this episode.
Oh no.
It's gotta be
So,
somebody.
Finally,
I
Carl the villain.
think I liked it. The first
Okay.
watch was really hard to get through for me, and maybe it's just because we came off of 300, but it felt so dragged out. Every song, I was just like, okay, like get it over with. Like it just felt like it felt like the whole thing was singing, and maybe I just don't love the genre of like musical dancing, but like I will say like the technical, ability that Gene Kelly had was not lost on me. I thought that they did an insane job with like the production and like some of the transitions and a lot of the stuff that like, stuff you see in Citizen Kane and like Casablanca that like are echoed in this. But I kept like looking at my phone and like, I was just like, man, like how much longer is this movie? But I will say, I had to like take a break. I watched like Equilibrium, which was like a Christian Bale like action John Wick style movie, and then I went back and watched this again, and it was a little bit easier to get through.
Uh-huh.
But that first watch was tough.
Gotcha.
Like my notes were not very forgiving. It was like, this movie's torture.
Oh my god.
Like,
I love that though.
and then like
Wow.
I mean, and I'll have to look through it, but like I think I liked it. Like I kept like a lot of the songs are stuck in my head, so it's like I think it worked on me. But I was just like something about the length that I was just like, okay, we're singing in the rain. Good morning. You know, I was like, how, like, gotta dance. I was like, we're still doing this? Like,
That
he's like,
was-
Okay,
when
I
the
wanna-
guy showed
don't
up
get into it.
again.
Don't get it.
When the guy showed up again, I was like, are we really doing this again? I thought we were now done with it. Now we're gonna start it all over again. But I don't know. I like on the second watch, I enjoyed it a little bit more, but it was tough for me to get through. So I think I just chalk it up to not loving the genre, but
Yeah.
the execution I thought was really great.
Sure.
And I thought it was like, you know, beautifully done, but yeah, it was tough for me.
I've got to agree with you in some scenes specifically, and I want to go through them in loose chronological order because you definitely have a point with some of these numbers dragging on for far too long.
I was just like, what are you? I was like, this guy's just showing off. Like, this is just
Oh,
him
yeah.
using this as a platform to be like, look at me, I'm the greatest showman that ever lived. And I'm like, okay, I believe you. Next. like,
we skipped through. Well, we watched it again today, so we've seen it
Oh.
twice,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we skipped through a couple of the scenes because it's like, all right,
Just the one. but
just the
yeah.
one. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll talk about that one.
Yeah.
I wonder if Nick and I have not maybe rose-colored glasses is the right term because we
well,
watched it in
I
the
will
theater.
say, I wish I could have seen
That's
it
what
in
I
a
was going to
theater.
say.
Yeah, because if I had been locked into a chair and had the experience of seeing an old movie and like the way it was supposed to be seen, not at a desk chair on like a laptop monitor, you know,
Yeah.
like
Right.
then I probably would have been more into it and like I don't know, but it yeah. So by myself watching it, it was a little.
Gotta get
tough
this
to
guy a
get through.
projector.
I think in general, watching movies with other people is better.
Yeah,
So having a like small theater with like 10 people that I was in, and they were loving it and laughing, like it definitely helped push through some of those scenes that felt like they were dragging.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want to get to that theater more when they show other old
Yeah.
crap
Same.
because
$5.
it was delightful.
that's not bad
Put
at all.
Casablanca on that screen. We'll be there.
Nah,
Come
I'll
on.
protest outside.
Come on.
You
It's
gotta
like
give that a
picketing.
rewatch.
No, Casablanca.
Watch literally anything else.
Where are the tickets? Where?
This movie plot doesn't make any sense.
I'll never show the piano. Whatever. So, oh man, I think I had some more to say about the, but whatever. So, set in the 1920s. That's what I wanted to say. So the movie's set in the 1920s, right at the transition. So the movie, the setting, I guess, or set
Yep.
piece around the movie is the transition between silent films and talkies in the 20s. I forget the first movie they mentioned. That's a talkie that comes out.
The jazz singer.
The jazz singer, yes. So Gene Kelly's character, Don Lockwood, and Gene Hagen's character, Lena Lamont, are so they're co-stars in silent movies, and they're I guess tabloided as lovers or
Yup.
engaged, and Don hates Lena. And Lena's obsessed with Don, which is a fun subplot. And it's funny. It like opens on a red carpet scene. And Don gets stopped by like, I guess it's not the paparazzi, or is it? It's a reporter,
press,
someone with a
yeah.
microphone. And he's telling a story about how he came to be on the silver screen but we're watching the flashbacks, and it's really funny that it's like his hyperbole juxtaposed with what actually happened on screen.
Yeah.
He's just full of it. Like he's
straight up lying.
Yeah, he's telling an overly embellished version of his story. Like he didn't come up as a star; he was a stuntman. You know, him and Cosmo did the same violin act in decreasingly
That
crappy
violin
venues.
act is so funny.
Um,
I loved it.
so it was great, and you know, he's a stuntman. He gets a break by, I guess, doing all the stunts for a
Yep.
film by the producer RF, right? Is the director?
I think that's the owner of the studio.
The owner of the studio, RF, whatever his last name is, doesn't matter.
I don't know.
And he starts after like when that happens, he's like sliding up to Lena Lamont, who's the big movie star lady, and she won't give him the time of day. And then he gets the promotion from RF, and she wants him all of a sudden. I thought it was hilarious that we don't even hear Lena talk for the first like 10 minutes she's on screen, because the secret is that she has a horrible voice.
She talks like this.
She's literally like this. It's so bad. So bad.
It's
so
not good.
And that's the drama, is when they go to talkies, well, they're ruined because Lena,
Yep.
the big movie star, sounds
talk.
terrible. And then, there's the whole plot with Debbie Reynolds' character, Kathy, doing the overdubs, and then that whole drama there. And we'll get a little more into that as we go.
Yeah.
I loved, this line made me laugh every time I saw it. When they're in, we go with the audience to see the movie premiere, the silent movie premiere, with Dawn and Lena, basically showing us as the, I guess, movie audience, not audience in the film, that they're big movie stars, right? And they're cutting to people in the crowd like swooning over Lena and Dawn.
Yeah.
And the one lady goes, "She's so refined, I think I'll kill myself." That made me laugh every time. I loved it.
I'm gonna kill myself.
I'm gonna kill myself.
There was that one guy too fangirling in the very beginning. He was like, "Huh?" And I was like, okay. Like there was a lot of things that I was like, this is a lot more modern than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. I liked a lot of stuff like that. I just wish there's a little less or a lot less singing and dancing. Like the rest of the stuff I thought was great. I just thought every single song went on a little too long.
Yep, I agree with that. I think Cosmo though. Cosmo might be my favorite character in the movie.
Cosmo's spitting that.
He was
whole movie.
the secret genius. Yeah.
He's
all his decisions made everything work.
His
like
one-liners,
he was the underground guy.
His one-liners are so funny.
Did he remind anybody else of like Steve Buscemi a little bit, the way he talked? And
I haven't seen enough Steve Buscemi stuff.
Or I also had a note that he looked just like the kid from the Mad magazine. That like little mascot guy.
All right. Yep.
He did feel familiar. I couldn't put my...
Yeah.
I looked up what he's in, and none of it was familiar to me. So, which is interesting. Him and Debbie Reynolds were significantly younger than Gene Kelly in the movie by over 10 years, I think.
Oh yeah, I mean Gene Kelly I think was about 40, and Debbie Reynolds was about 19.
Yeah.
So
she was young. This was her breakout role.
Little 20 years. Yeah, she actually, fun fact, had no formal dancing or singing training prior to this movie. She had been a gymnast, I think. So that was her only experience. But Gene Kelly was like, "Nah, I can teach her these dances."
And who was supposed to be, or who else was considered? You mentioned someone.
I didn't recognize two of the names, but one of them was Judy Garland.
Gotcha.
American Treasure. But she's too old.
She was too old. Debbie Reynolds
Yoda
was chosen instead. Cosmo, though, he was interesting to me because he's a one-line machine. He's comic relief, sarcastic comic relief in a lot of the scenes, but he doesn't really have much of an arc.
No,
Not really.
Outside of the scene,
he's an unsung hero.
Yeah,
he is.
Outside of the scene post Good Morning, where they're trying to turn the movie into a musical, the movie that they're making into a musical, and then he pitches the ideas and they're like, "Remind me to give you a raise, remind me to blah blah blah," and that's really the only arc that we get for Cosmo. He kind of plays second fiddle, literally, the whole movie.
Yeah.
But I liked him. I don't know. His wit was good. He had that one line, "Gee, I'm glad you turned up. We've been looking inside every cake in town." When they find Kathy.
My favorite line of his was, "Oh, go ahead, Nick."
Oh, I hope I steal yours.
No.
Whenever, oh shoot, what's the main guy's name? I'm terrible with names. Don. When Don's getting attacked by the mob outside the car, he's like, "Hey, call me a cab." He's like, "Okay, you're a cab."
Yeah.
That wasn't mine. Mine was when he's like, "Did you see anything more ridiculous than me on that screen?" He's like, "Yeah, Lena." He's like, "All right, I played a close second." That was great. There was a lot of really good humor, and I wish there was just more of it. Like I loved that stuff. Like, and they did a lot of like breaking the fourth wall, like staring at the camera. I didn't expect that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Like that seemed very modern to me, and I was like, they were doing this back in the 50s. I thought it seemed modern.
She can't sing. She can't talk. She can't dance. Triple threat.
She's a triple threat.
There's a few scenes where they kind of just like looked at the camera a little bit, or like they kind of referenced a little bit tongue in cheek, but I don't know.
So speaking of shots going on too long, and I have another point to make with this same scene, but the make 'em laugh.
Oh my god, that was the one
not
where
too
I was
long.
like, make it stop.
That was perfect.
Are you serious?
You didn't like that?
Wow.
So
No,
long.
he kept going
Oh
on
my
and
god,
on.
Cut
I was
it.
laughing so hard.
I'm with you, Nick.
Really?
Dude,
I mean, it was long, but like I just love that Nick's into it.
That was his best moment. That was the performance of
Wow.
a lifetime.
I thought it was
Wow.
impressive.
So good.
I just didn't need all of it.
Yeah, I
I was
didn't
like,
either.
the stuff he's doing is really like incredible feats of physical whatever. But I was just like, okay, I get it. You got to make him laugh. Like, cut it in half and
It
send it to
just
the next
kept
person.
increasingly
Like,
getting more ridiculous.
Oh, I
When
thought
that
it
scene
was-
starts, he's just sitting at the piano trying to cheer what's his name, Don up.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, everyone needs a friend like this, and then it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. I loved it.
Oh, that was 2 times too long. They could have cut that.
He,
Cut it in half.
Cut it
So
in
he-
half.
He filmed that entire scene himself too, so no stunt doubles. Like he
Yep.
did all the flips.
Yep.
Like on a
and a-
concrete floor.
Like the flips are
Yeah.
cool, but like more
and the
for
scene
me.
behind the couch when he's
Uh,
like fighting with the dummy, it was so good.
That
Oh,
one's
yeah.
that stuff is fine. I like some of the gags, but some of the ones where like he's spinning on the floor for really long, or when he's
Yeah.
doing the face adjustment bit, I'm like, cut it shorter.
Yeah,
It's
a
so
lot of- yeah, it was
long.
just-
I was all smiles.
I know I was
So
too, but
happy.
still, it was like, God, believe if
We
half
got
the
it.
gags had been
Yeah.
half as long, I think it's just as good.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
it drew on
They
for a little long.
oversaturated it. They took out the punch and the sting of the impact by making it go too long. It was the same thing with like the KKK cloaks for me in Django. It's like it just went on too long. Like if it had been shorter,
I
it'd been
like
funnier
that.
to me.
I like that.
But I don't. Maybe a bad
Yeah,
example.
a
but
2-hour
that-
battle movie was not too long.
That was my argument for the slow-mo scenes in 300, and I
Yeah.
was wrong.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
No, there's
well,
a theme
you're
here.
still wrong.
There's
but
a theme, yeah, common theme.
Uh,
Me and Carl are always right.
But
no. Incorrect.
that the make 'em laugh scene. Apparently, the guy who plays Cosmos was a chain smoker and smoked like 4 packs a day, and was just in bed for 3 days after filming that.
Oof.
Yeah, it sounds
Like
like a
it took a
champion to
lot.
That'll
me.
get you.
Took the life out.
So I
Don't
have
smoke,
a
kids.
no, do smoke. It's good for you,
it's cool.
and it's cool.
No.
So that scene, the make it laugh scene, when they enter that scene, so pre the singing, and Don and Cosmo walk through the set, because we're still in this is pre the talkie. This is before the talkie had come out.
Yeah.
So they're filming, it looks like 2+ movies in that same studio, because they don't need the audio. The audio is just music and like
Or-
sound effects and post.
Or they were filming multiple scenes.
Or
I
yes,
guess-
or multiple scenes at the same time. But by
I
the
guess
same
cast
token,
would-
I was just wondering, like, between that and during all of the filming pre-talkie, we have the director directing in the shot. So he's got, all right, Don, do this now, and give him this, and blah blah blah. I wonder how much harder and more frustrating movie making got for those directors and actors in the talkie era, because immediately, like, you have to have quiet on the set. We're recording
Yeah.
audio, so we can't do
Changed
multiple
everything.
scenes
Yeah.
or multiple movies at once. And then we have the director can't direct in the scene. He has to do it in between takes. I wonder if that stretched and just made everybody's life miserable
Oh,
for the first.
absolutely.
That's what I was thinking about, especially during the second watch when I was
Yeah.
paying attention to more background stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wonder if that was a real pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Gotta be.
I wonder how much resistance it was met with too, like just across the industry. Because one person probably figured it out, and everyone else
Yeah.
had to like scramble. Like they either shut it down, like this isn't going to be the way, or we're going to have to like scramble and adapt. So
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Which
like
is kind of
the
what they did.
well,
yeah,
I was gonna say, like, I mean, the owner of the studio in the movie is even like, it'll blow over. We don't need this.
yeah,
Right.
And then,
yeah.
like, in the next scene, he's like, actually, this
Yeah,
is a problem.
They're ruining us.
This is not
Yeah.
good.
And then that's when we get into Lena sucks. Her voice is terrible. And,
Lena.
we have Kathy.
I can't make love to a bush.
Great scene. The microphone gag. I liked that.
Yeah. What do I do?
yeah. I like that. I thought that was funny. Yeah,
And that getting progressively more annoying. And the director,
Uh,
all right, quiet, slamming the door.
talk
And
into the mic. It'll go through the wire and travel down to the sound booth. Yeah,
the way they close it with RF coming in and go, what's this wire doing here? Someone can trip. It's dangerous. And just pulls Lena off.
Yeah.
The thing. Great. I love that scene.
yeah, just goes flying.
I didn't realize for the first 20 minutes or so, I expected Dawn to be like the villain character.
Really?
I expected him to
Interesting.
have the heel turn. So I thought that Lena would play like the stereotypical, I guess, modern 20 years ago, 30 years ago, dumb blonde. And her being the antagonist, I thought was actually, I enjoyed that. I didn't see that coming. I thought that the villain in the story would be the tension between Kathy and Don. And him, like the will they, won't they. I thought that would be the whole story, and not Lena getting Kathy fired from her cake dancing gig, and like using contract leverage to screw her out of credit for the overdubbing, which is the big heel turn. And that made the I thought that the resolution at the end with the pulling the curtain up and revealing that I guess they have the movie or whatever, and then the crowd, Lena has not been allowed to speak in front of the public because her voice is so terrible, and they finally let her go have her moment because she's being such a beehole, and she's like, "Thank you for coming to my movie," and the crowd's like, "She doesn't sound like that."
Carl's mom.
Thing. Yeah, it sounds like Carl's mom.
I ate all your Oreos.
I ruined your pineapple again.
Oh my god.
Locked you out of the house, dear. And the crowd wants her to sing, so they're like, "Oh, we have an idea," and she's like, "We'll make Kathy do it for me." So Kathy sings backstage, and then to the beat of the song, Cosmo, RF, and Don, in the best moment of the movie, in my opinion, yank the curtain up and reveal that it's Kathy singing back there. And then the crowd starts laughing, and then Cosmo pushes her aside and starts singing the song as Lena's still lip syncing. Great. I loved the resolution. You got emotional at the end.
I don't know why. On the second we were at home, I was just like,
when Dawn's like, "Stop that girl in the pink there," that's like running down the aisle.
She's like crying.
She's got the tears going
and
down.
everyone's clapping for her. I was just like, all our dreams are coming true.
And Debbie Reynolds is...
But I have a fun fact about the dubbing.
Oh.
So I don't know if you noticed, but in one of the songs, Kathy does not sound like Kathy. And it's because they dubbed Debbie Reynolds dubbing for Lena.
Huh.
In one of the songs.
Incredibly ironic.
Which is one hilarious. Of the songs?
In only one of the songs.
Which one? Do you know?
And a little bit of the voiceover too, but it's the song like while they're like when you see her recording the audio and then it pans to Lena.
Okay.
Like,
would
you?
That one didn't sound like the others. Okay.
That's not her. Huh. Fun fact.
I thought just like 1950s recording inconsistencies, but no, it's not her. Okay.
I did too the first time, and then when I was reading all my fun facts, I was like,
interesting.
What do you know?
I loved the resolution. I thought it was great. I'm glad. I like movies that end like right on the happy ever after note and don't let it play out.
Yeah.
I don't like it when it's played out too long. I like to go, and they got together.
And they got together. They made a movie.
So,
and credits. Yeah.
Bing, bang, boom.
I liked the ending. I didn't like her reaction to getting revealed. Like to run off and not want to be seen. Like that was... Maybe she didn't want to be seen.
I think she thought they were embarrassing her.
The laughing. Yeah, they might have thought because they were forcing her to do it, and she was pissed off and told Don she never wanted to see him again. And then the reaction of the curtain being lifted is laughter.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, I don't know.
I thought she would have been excited
happy.
Or
thrilled.
Like,
like a got him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean Debbie Reynolds, by the way, gorgeous in the movie.
So pretty.
She's great.
And her like flowy dresses. I'm just like, so fun.
Favorite song. Which favorite song, everybody? Start with Carl because he didn't like any of them.
Yeah.
What's the one that's stuck in your head?
So
if you don't have a favorite,
I don't know if I had a favorite song, but I liked the production value of the Broadway thing.
Yes.
Which one
I thought that was like you got a clown on Broadway, got to dance. I thought that one was the most spectacularly done and like the most impressive like performance across the thing. I guess the most iconic one's the Singin' in the Rain one, but even that that didn't seem to hold up to like the Broadway level of like the production value they put into it.
Gotcha.
And that one I don't know if I minded it dragging on because it like changed so many times. The rest of them were like them singing Moses Noses Toes is something, and I'm like, how long are we gonna do this?
I liked that scene too. But that was my favorite Cosmo moment. Was that song?
It was good.
my favorite song was Good Morning. Without a doubt.
That
And
one's
that's
lovely.
I actually didn't know anything about this movie. So I had that song has been stuck in my head for like a decade because of that freaking orange juice
The
commercial.
Tropicana commercial.
So
thought you were
when
gonna say
that
Family Guy.
song was in the movie, like my brain exhaled like a decade's worth of exhale. Like, oh, I know what this is from now.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like it was one of those like really pleasing moments to me.
Yeah.
So that was my favorite one. Little
They
dampened.
parodied that in Family Guy.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. It's crazy how
watch that
many,
now.
how much Family Guy is spoiled for classic
gonna look
movies
that up.
for me.
Nick, what was your favorite song?
I mean, Singing in the Rain is iconic. Like that pole dance. Or not pole dance. When he's swinging.
Gene Kelly's
That
pole
pole
dancing.
dance scene. I watched a different movie. No, but when he's like swinging from the light pole, like that's
Yeah.
you see that
Well, that's-
everywhere.
Yeah.
Imitated everywhere.
It's in a statue in Universal.
But I think I'm with you, Cameron. The Good Morning,
Morning.
song was
So
my favorite.
happy.
It was definitely the one I was
I was
singing
really
all day.
happy.
Yeah, same. Danielle.
Me, oh, that's really hard. I feel like it changes. Like I've been listening to the soundtrack, and then different ones will get stuck in my head, off and on. But I feel like it has to be "Singing in the Rain" for me.
Gotcha.
But something I learned like post watching this movie is this is actually a jukebox musical. Like I always thought "Singing in the Rain" was from this movie. It's not. The song's been around for years.
Are any of the songs from the movie?
Make 'Em Laugh is
Okay.
supposedly an original song. It's a close copy of an earlier Gene Kelly song,
Oof.
but it's original. So,
Okay.
but this is like one of the first film jukebox musicals.
Huh. I didn't know
So,
that.
But yeah, I like all the songs. But "Singing in the Rain," just the split. He's splishy splashing.
Yeah, the
He's
cops.
happy.
Little interaction with the cop. At the
Yeah.
Cop, and then he gives
It's
his
like-
umbrella
Yeah.
away to the other guy.
I'm singing in the
That
rain.
seems like
man.
that's where the pivotal moment changes, where he's like, his outlook changes and then his whole life kind of changes. But yeah.
It's interesting. You didn't like it. I kind of expected you to like it.
I can never pin you guys
Me,
down.
I liked it. I just thought the music was too much. Like I thought there was just too much of it. I thought like
Too much music in this musical.
Well, no, because on a level I
mean,
sympathize because I don't
like-
like musicals either. I think
Yeah.
the fact that it's old and a musical like gives it bonus
Right.
points for
Saves
me
it.
because
I
I,
thought
like
I
old
thought it was
stuff.
charming. I thought Gene Kelly was great. He gave me George Clooney vibes.
That
But-
is, I like
Huh.
that. That makes sense.
Yeah. He reminded me of Clooney. The other guy
that.
reminded me of Buscemi, and then what was her name? The shrill voice lady reminded me of Miss Piggy.
Lena. Yeah, Lena Lush. Miss Piggy's.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, I liked it. It was just it was hard for me to sit through a lot of the music. And going through the second time it was easier, but I was kind of breaking up into chunks. But like the music's been stuck in my head. I don't
Yeah.
hate it. It's just it was not my go-to kind of movie. But,
I
There
think.
was
That's fair.
Go ahead.
there was only one song I didn't like,
Oh,
Oh, which one?
which one?
and I think you guys are with me on this. It was the one where like the head TV guy or whatever, RF.
Yeah,
I don't know why I can't keep track of names of anyone in this movie,
me either.
but he's walking in and like seeing the first recording of a song. It's one where you got like the model standing still at the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
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 I forget the name
the
of that
studio song.
Beautiful girls.
Oh my
lyrically
God,
was
yeah.
Beautiful
a little
That one-
dicey.
that was the one where I was like, "Are we still doing this shit?"
So
that didn't-
that
there
one,
was-
that one was kind of off the rails for me. And then what's that scene after the?
That guy, I was like, Brian Keegan started his career in music.
It did feel a
Brian
bit
Regan,
out of nowhere.
the
Like,
comedian
why do we
guy.
need a catalog breakdown of outfits in the middle of this movie?
The one
Yeah,
where
it did-
Dawn has that idea for the final number and
So
it's not
that's
recorded
what
yet.
Carl
Is
was
that the
just
Broadway
saying he
part?
really liked.
That's
yeah.
the part of the movie we skipped, Carl.
It's so long.
We in the theater were like,
Broadway?
It's
Really?
long, but I think
Well, just
I
'cause
just thought
we
it was
wanted to
really well
get-
done. Yeah.
it's long
Second
and
watch,
it's like,
fine, I guess.
Yeah, we just wanted to get through the rest of the
and
movie.
even in the movie though, we were like, what is this serving? Kind of,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. Like it's a good spectacle, but we're like, man, really? We're like, we have a last number for the song and we're gonna spend 15 minutes on it in the movie.
and I just don't get how that ties into
then
the
at the end
Dancing
he's like-
Cavalier.
Exactly.
yeah.
Well, that's
he's like, I can't picture it. Like at the end of all of it.
Yeah.
well, I think it ties into the Dancing Cavalier because they were talking about at the beginning it would be a guy in the modern day who's like on a stage production, and then he's on a break and he goes and reads a book and gets hit in the hand with a sandbag. And that's how he goes back in time, and he thinks he's in Victorian times. And I think the point was that scene that we skipped in our second watching was like the end of the movie. So he's back in current day. Maybe, and they're wrapping it up or something like that, or I don't know.
I'll suspend my criticism.
I thought it was cool that
was my least favorite.
In that,
part,
like 15 minutes, we got a completely different plot with like a beginning, middle, end to it. Like he showed up to New York and then was like going through everything, and then he finds a love interest, and then she turns on it. Like there was a whole other story in that one scene, and I like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I forgot it was him thinking about what the scene was going to be, and then it cut back to.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Do we want to go into anybody else have any final thoughts before we do star ratings?
I was going to ask one more question.
Oh, go ahead.
To the group. If you had to pick an accent, what accent would you have? I don't know if that's a dumb question.
Like you mean like
yeah, like how they had to
do Mid-Atlantic?
Yeah, they couldn't talk, and like Lena had a bad accent, so she couldn't be in the movie. So if like you were gonna have to pick an accent,
just for film,
be like voiced over,
or
sure, for film.
Okay, so an accent we have to learn for a role.
No, you just have it.
Oh, we just have it.
Yeah,
automatically.
Yeah.
Oh,
you just have it. You can just talk with an accent.
I would want to talk however Henry Cavill talks.
Oh, that's a good
It's just
one.
a good, deep, solid British accent. That'd be how I would talk. Or Gilbert Gottfried.
Oh, rip.
No, I'd pick British for sure. Or Mid-Atlantic, but that's not a real accent.
Yeah, but
as we learned in the movie.
Good.
It was great to have people teaching Mid-Atlantic.
Why don't we talk
Carl,
like that
are you
anymore?
Googling accents?
No, I'm reading my notes, and one of them is, I wish I could speed run this movie.
No.
I love it. I love that you didn't like it.
And then the next one is, actually really dig this Broadway stage one. Like,
my least favorite part.
The graduate leg was great. Just
I like
the
how
leg
this
out.
his like lady is like with the mafioso, and he's just like, yeah, sure, go dance with this man.
Oh yeah, man.
Coins.
I feel like I blocked all.
I gotta
of that out.
flip my coin the whole time. Yeah.
What would you pick though? What accent would you have?
What accent would I have?
I mean, you picked the question. You gotta have one.
I did.
German.
Well, I feel basic because like a British accent is just lovely.
That's because British accents are attractive.
I know.
They're great.
I don't know if I could speak French. I know you hate the French.
Yeah.
But French is such a pretty language.
Well, you know.
Croissants.
When you asked that question, my immediate reaction was Russian.
Ooh.
What?
But then my brain like autocorrected to say, no, you're a human being and your response should be British.
Yeah.
No, but Russian.
Russian would be pretty good.
Comradnik.
You could be so scary. Like that
Nikolai.
Eastern European accent is so like you could be so intimidating.
Bring me his head.
Yeah, like I ain't messing around.
I'm not gonna try. It will be bad.
Be great.
You should try. Do it for the pod.
I'll do it off camera, and then if I like it, I'll do it.
Fine. We'll follow up next week.
Carl, you gotta pick an accent.
low
do
stakes.
the whole next episode.
Did you pick an accent, Carl?
No, maybe South African would be cool.
Ooh.
Something that's like
a good
really, really strange, or like something rare. If you're like, where are you from? You British? You're
Australia.
Like,
None of us picked Australia.
Hello,
I feel like I can almost do an Australian, so I don't know if I would want one that I can, like French. I can't do British.
You can do a Cockney. You could be Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
Master Wayne.
Master Wayne.
Nailed it.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Is Morgan
What's the
Freeman
point
in
of all
accent?
those push-ups?
The hell was that?
I don't know.
Let's never do
That's
accents
why I'm not
again.
doing one.
Never do accents again. All right. Any final thoughts before we do star rating?
Phoebe.
No.
Hi.
All right. Let's do it. Let's start with Nick
It's not.
because he surprised me with loving this
Start
movie
with
as much
Nick.
as he did. Start with
Okay.
Nick.
Classic.
I know. I'm so surprised.
I
I'm
liked
glad.
it a lot. I felt like it was creative the whole way through. Like every scene just got more and more creative for me. I was sitting in the theater just grinning the whole time. Like I was just super into every scene. Like I didn't feel like they did anything minus that one scene that was a little, I don't know. The lyrics of that one song were a little I don't know, words. But no, I liked it a lot. I thought Debbie Reynolds was amazing in it. Yeah, man, it was. I don't have a lot of thoughts because it was just fun. It was just fun to watch. It was cool to see it on a big screen for the first time.
What out of 5?
1 out of 5. No.
What out of 5?
1
out of 5. Great
Don't
movie.
give this movie a 1, anybody.
No, it deserves way more than that. It deserves.
Carl's face.
I know.
It deserves a 3.5.
3.5.
3.5.
All right. Who wants to go next? I want to save Carl for last.
It was a How about
No,
you go
man.
next?
Okay, I'll go next. This movie checks a couple boxes for me. One, it's old. So I think old brings you almost automatically above 3.
Oh.
Because I'm an old man. I watch baseball on purpose, and I like old movies. And I think this one for me, man, I enjoyed it a lot.
Is it better than Casablanca for you?
No.
Oh.
What did I give Casablanca? Does anybody remember? I think I gave it a 4.
4?
I can't remember.
4 or 5?
I feel like you gave it a 4.5.
4.5.
Because I gave Casablanca. I don't remember now.
I want to give this movie, Casablanca aside, I want to give this movie a 4. I enjoyed it a lot. I don't think, I mean, if I had to pick between this and Casablanca, I think I would pick. That's a hard one. I think Casablanca is a better movie, but I think this is a lighter watch.
Yeah, it is.
And I tend to gravitate towards lighter watches.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to choose. They're both great. I'll give this one a 4. Why don't you go next?
All right. What do you think I'm going to give this movie?
5.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is a 5
Easiest
out of 5
call
for
ever.
me.
This is amazing. This is your first 5?
Yes, it
This
is
is
my
your first
first
5.
5.
Nice.
So 5 for me is Pulp Fiction, and for you it's
For me,
Singin' in
it's Singing in the Rain. It's so happy. I like movies that leave me feeling like light and joyful. And I love music. I don't know why I love musicals. I just do. They speak to my soul. So this movie's like a nice warm hug for me. So 5 out of 5. Plus, I mean, it's just great. I mean, story's great, music's great, dancing's great.
Yep.
Costumes are great. It's all great.
Debbie Reynolds is great.
Debbie Reynolds is great.
All right, let's immediately contrast that with Carl.
All right.
Man. Well, it's funny because Nick went 3.5, and I was like, I was gonna give it 3. So if Nick liked it that much, I might have to give it like a 2 or something. But
No, don't use his scale as
yeah,
your scale.
Yeah, and I'm torn because like I don't really know if I even have any real thoughts. Like
What are thoughts?
Yeah, like the first time was really tough. The second time I kind of enjoyed it and like I appreciated it a lot more. And there's definitely things that like the comedy's fantastic. I think they do a good job with that. God, I mean, there was just so much singing and dancing that wasn't there.
It's a musical.
Yeah. But I think if they had just cut like a minute or 2 from each song, it would have been like a really
I'm with
perfect
you
movie.
there.
But yeah, it's
with you
it all just went on to the point where I was just like, okay. But other than that, I mean, I thought it was really well done. I thought, the story was pretty fun. I thought the whole I guess it just was a thing for movies back then to use newspapers to like transition from one scene to another. But I was really impressed with it with the first movie, and then like the next 2 did it too, and I was like, oh, I guess that's just a trope. Like I thought it was like a really ingenious.
It's like the George Lucas screen wipe of the era.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm like, are old movies groundbreaking the second time something's done, or is it only the first time? You know what I mean? Like, or is it just copying after that? Like, so I don't know, like, historically, if this was like technically brilliant or not, but I mean, I enjoyed it. I think I'll give it just an even 3 feels good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't watch it again anytime soon. I watched it twice. That's enough. I may have to do a quick scrub for some memes, but
Sure.
I mean, the songs will probably be stuck in my head, and I'll probably be kicking myself for it for the next like month. But I enjoyed it. I just, it's musicals are
Not
tough
your
for
thing.
me. Yeah, not my cup of tea.
3 out of 5, not
but
your
not
jam.
bad. Yeah.
All right, well, it's that time. We get to pick another movie out of the bucket. Will it be another drama?
Will the bucket be kind?
And we pray for national.
The Mummy. The Mummy.
No, National Treasure.
I could do it. I could do a
has a
Truman
date.
Show.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Some of the bucket movies are not in the bucket because we're gonna do them for dates. So, on the old calendario. So, no. Why don't you pull one? You just have to flick it.
All right. I
You're
believe in
done.
myself.
Here we go.
I'm scared, guys. This feels like so much pressure.
I mean, it is. This
I
is our
know.
fate.
I
This
don't-
decides
I
our
don't
next
wanna-
7 days.
All right. Oh no.
Oh no.
Something called Labyrinth.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. That's a weird movie.
It's weird. It has like puppets.
It's David
Right?
Bowie.
David
Oh,
Bowie.
Lord.
It's
Yeah.
David
Oh.
Bowie.
Jennifer Connelly?
Well, yeah.
Take a flick.
I know
Man,
nothing about this one.
so
Labyrinth.
Labyrinth is in the bucket because
Is
of
that the one
Harmontown.
with the eye hand guy, or is that a different movie?
That's a different movie.
Eye hand guy.
What am I thinking of?
Labyrinth is a weird, overly sexualized David Bowie movie.
All right.
I think he plays a character called Jareth, which is
Ew.
fantastic. Jareth. I'm excited. They
Is that
in
John Travolta?
in the early
what it sounds like.
John Travolta's-
my Bowie and my
I gotta take a
Travolta are just the
piss,
same.
Yeah.
I'm David Bowie. And John Travolta is the exact same. In Harmontown, they have a Halloween where it's one of the cast's favorite movies, so they all dress up as Jareth. And then they have all of the audience dress up as Jareth, and they
Oh,
rated
that's
one
amazing.
bar as 35 Jareths.
Wow.
And it was excellent. So they speak so highly of the movie in a weird way. It's just a weird Bowie movie. I've always wanted to watch it. So we're going to watch live. I'm actually
We're gonna
excited
watch
because
it.
it's not
I'm
a drama.
excited too.
It
Yeah.
is-
I know nothing about this movie, just that he's in
Yeah.
it. So
We could all hate
Neither.
it, which would be great.
We'll find out.
I don't think there's a hope in hell that Danielle likes this movie.
No way. No shot.
Just from what I know about it, there's no chance she likes this
God,
movie.
I don't know anything about this.
You're gonna be
other
like,
than-
why is he so creepy?
Oh no.
is Bowie in any other movies, or is this it?
I have no idea.
I guess he was in Zoolander for a little bit, but that doesn't really.
I think
count.
he has
David
a.
Bowie?
He was in there for just a little bit.
Was he?
Phoebe.
I think he has a cod
I
piece
feel like
in
he
this
was
movie.
dead before Zoolander.
The first one?
Codpiece?
No.
Yeah, cod piece. It's gonna be great.
He was like he was the guy that ranked the runway model off.
not in the
That's
bucket.
another good movie. We got to add that one.
Next year, maybe.
Yeah.
We've got enough movies for 3 years
I know.
for next year.
Yeah.
It's freaking crazy.
Um,
All right,
Well, they keep making more.
they keep. We've
We
got to.
have enough
We'll
movies.
catch up one day.
All right, y'all. Well, thanks for watching. If you like the show, like the episode, comment, subscribe, follow us on something, Instagram, TikTok, wherever else we are.
The tube.
YouTube.com/@thebigRoomPod
That's us.
podcast. We are gonna watch Labyrinth,
All right.
and we'll catch you on the next
Something
one.
called Labyrinth.
Alrighty.
See y'all.